So joining me now is Corey Morgan of the Western Standard. And when Danielle Smith announced her plan for the next legislative session, I knew he was the guy I wanted to talk to. Corey, thanks so much for coming on the show. Talk to me about, let's zoom out a little bit about some of the things that you saw in Danielle Smith's throne speech.
Sure. I mean, a lot of it was, I guess, kind of predictable, very much focused on making Alberta a destination for business. That's the messaging she wants to get out, reducing regulatory regime, and also for people with the affordability front, reducing the tax bracket, keeping that theme of pointing at Ottawa as the enemy to defend against. Again, politically, it's always a good approach in Alberta, and they always give us lots to work with on that front. The thing that kind of came out of left field there was the high-speed train proposal, though, which I don't remember anybody campaigning on or anybody even asking for, and to have it actually inserted into a throne speech gets me actually kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was sort of a thing I didn't expect to see. I knew it was something that Jason Kenney was sort of poking around, examining. I hadn't seen the business plan for that, but it seems like every 5 or 6 years, someone's like, what we definitely need is a monorail from Edmonton to Calgary, stopping, I don't know, in Innisfail and Red Deer along the way. I mean, I don't know what the usership would have to be to make that affordable. If it's a government-run project, I mean, we'll just be able to teleport through a private company by the time the government gets a monorail finished. So again, I'd like to see the business model on that, but you touched a little bit on the tax relief issue. There's Bill 1, which I think we should definitely talk about, and also suspending the gas tax until the end of the year. We keep doing this, suspend the gas tax until a certain date. I don't understand why we just don't get rid of it altogether. If we realize that it is driving up inflation and hurting Albertans in their pocketbooks, why wouldn't we just get rid of it altogether?
Because they like hedging their bets. So if revenue starts dropping, it doesn't look like they're bringing back an old tax or adding a new tax. If they got rid of it altogether, they can always just say, well, the term of the suspension expired. So this way they'll just keep kicking that can down the road. At least they are suspending it for a time, but I would be more comfortable if they did just get rid of it altogether. I mean, just admit it. It's not a good tax. It's hurting businesses, it's hurting citizens, and we should get rid of it. But they won't quite make that step.
Yeah, it's true. Now, let's talk about Bill 1. So I think for people outside of the province, they really don't understand what Bill 1, but Bill 1 acts as a restraining order against the government for introduction of new taxes or hiking taxes. If they plan to hike the tax, it has to go to referendum. This is something that has been like a bread and butter conservative issue for a very long time. This harkens back to the Ralph Klein days. But of course, the NDP don't like this idea.
Well, the NDP, I mean, it's fine for Premier Smith. They seem to just have the pure chronic oppositional disorder going on. That's the nature of opposition, but they're getting to a point of really just immediate opposition to everything. And I don't think it's serving them at all. This sort of thing does remind us of Ralph Klein. He brought in the Balanced Budget Act to say that, the government could not go into deficit. The very first time I ever attended a live legislative session in person was to watch the Stelmach government put a quick motion in, repeal the act, and then go into deficit. So these acts, they're good because it makes the government at least have to go pretty public and eat some crow and make a motion to get out of their own legislation if they do want to raise taxes. This is different that it calls for a referendum if they wanted to do it, which I can't see any referendum winning when somebody's saying we want to raise your taxes. So it does. It's a good thing to see, but I mean, people also should realize that it's not set in stone. Any majority government can always repeal these things, but it makes it more difficult for them down the road to try and raise taxes, and anything that hinders the government's temptation to raise our taxes further is a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, hey, what you just saw there is a clip from my weekly full-length show, The Gun Show. It airs on Wednesday, but this is the internet. You can watch it whenever you feel like. You just have to become a subscriber to our paywalled premium content. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com to become a member today.